can I welcome up our guests who I have titled this Inspiring Business. So can we have Teddy, Yoadan, and Blayne Tesfaye up on the stage, please? There's she. So let's just begin by, maybe some people weren't here for your interviews when you came and shared your stories. So let's just start by telling us who you are, what your business is, what you do, what your business is. So Yoadan, do you want to kick us off?
And my name is Yoadan Talahon. I'm the CEO of Flawless Events. And woo! Sounds like we have a fan base in the house. We organize and manage corporate events, government events. So we don't do social events, but we focus on corporate events.
When it comes to events, Yoadan is just as good as it gets. So you can imagine as you're organizing an event, you're just looking, going, is everything going okay? Is everything going okay?
I feel like I'm the oldest guy around, so congratulations, Khalib. My name is Teodros. I'm the Managing Director of CLS Logistics. We've been in business for, as you can see, for many years. We'll discuss more and we'll get to know each other.
Hello, my name is Blayne Tesfaye, and I'm the Managing Partner and co-founder of True Love Granola. The short story is we make granola. The longer story is we're a natural foods business that makes convenient on-the-go snacks to keep folks energized on the go.
Very nice. Let's hear it for them. So let's just begin the discussion by, so you guys are at a stage where your businesses are growing. You've been here a while in this industry. You've seen it develop and grow. Just maybe speak into the context of business here in Ethiopia, briefly, each of you. So Yoadan, maybe kick us off with, how have you seen the opportunities for business grow in the context now even to start a business?
Perhaps I could start with running a business for 26 years in Ethiopia. I might have a bit of few ideas. But every business that starts, and especially when you think of growing it, there's three principles that one has to follow. Either you've got to have better or more customers. You got to go out and get more customers in order to grow your business. That's number one, critical. Or you got to be able to sell more to your current customers that you have. So you got to increase your products. And you got to be able to have repeat customers coming in. These three principles, without it, any business you're in, and I could care less, without these three principles, you can't grow a business. You got to get more customers, you got to sell more, or you got to have, again, to have repeat customers coming into your products. Give you an example. If you look at Amazon, how many of you go out on Amazon to shop? Okay, few of them. But if you go in there, the reason you keep going back to Amazon is because you trust Amazon, and when you go there, you tend to buy more than what you bargained for, or more than what you wanted to buy for. Give you an example. If I don't want to take all the oxygen, but a few weeks ago, a friend of mine was selling little mini cars, Mini Coopers, old ones, antique. I was so excited, I went and bought two of them. A little exaggerated there, but yes, I bought two of them. So last week, I happened to be in the UK for business. I figured I'm going to go and shop for spare parts at a mini spare parts store. I walked in to buy very few things, and my budget was £100. I walked in there, and I began to see quite a bit of stuff that I did not bargain to buy. I walked away with £500 of spare parts. Damn. That is business. And that's what one needs to do. When a customer of yours walks in, they need to be able to buy more than what they came for. If you can do that, then you got scale, that you can sell more at a better price and a better product, a better value. So for me, to grow a business, you need to have these basic principles in place. Thank you.
Amazing. So,
and I think just to add, because great points. You also have to be able to teach your customers what you're selling. Especially when we started, event management was not very well known, nor was it really that appreciated. Because everybody, to this, even now, a lot of people think they can do large-scale events on their own. That's because there is no appreciation or not good understanding of what it means to do an event. So a lot of times we spend our time teaching and showing the customers what exactly, where the value addition is. Because if customers think that all you're doing is, they tell you to do A and you're delivering A, there's no value in that. But they're telling you to do A and you're showing them, oh no, babe, wait, for the same money, I can do B, C, D, and even save you money by doing that. That's how you teach people to buy into your services, right? Just to add on.
But Omar, so I guess my next question would be to dive into your own experiences is, what has been game-changing for your businesses as it's gone from startup to growing into what it is now? So Blayne, start us off.
Okay, I think what has been game-changing is staying open to all the experiences and learning. I think it's hard to know what you're getting into when you start. So when I started, I was starting a granola business. I didn't know what the market would be like. I didn't have any business experience, and I just kind of went into it quite blind. And in some ways, that was good because it kept me open, but in some ways it was a huge challenge. So I think staying open and listening to what your business, what your people tell you is important. So for instance, early on when a customer said to me, when I was still making granola in my apartment, we need to come see your factory. I didn't say, no, I don't have a factory, you can't come to my apartment. I said, sure, give me 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, we cobbled together some sort of workshop, mini factory. And I think it's that openness to listening to what the market tells you, what the business tells you, that's the exciting part of doing business here in Ethiopia.
Fantastic. Same question to you, Teddy.
For me, it's quite easy. It's knowing that I don't know everything. And we began delegating, I began delegating. But let me ask a question. Is it possible?
Absolutely.
Show of hands, how many of you think you're the most important person in your company? Come on, don't be shy. You're the most important person in your company. There you go. Now that's where the problem is. If you think you're the most important person in your company will never grow. Your company will never grow, trust me. The reason is because you think you're the most important person, you will not develop talent or leaders that you'll be able to delegate. And when you don't do that, you die with your company. Earlier on, someone mentioned here, there's not a lot of companies in Ethiopia that have gone beyond 10 years. Believe you me, that is very, very, very true. It's because people, we don't learn to delegate. For us, the biggest change came when we began to delegate and build leaders among our company and to grow the leaders from the company to be able to take leadership position and management positions to grow our company and to challenge me as an MD and as an owner where I'm wrong. For example, I've said this in my last event with you. I'm a worse person when it comes to finance. Now, some of you know my CFO. Without his blessing, I do not invest in anything. He's got why? I do not know anything or very limited knowledge in finance. So you've got to be able to know who you are and you've got to excel in what you do. And the things that you don't know, you've got to be able to delegate. And if you cannot find someone to delegate, you better train someone within your company and create leaders that will take your company to the next stage. Otherwise, you can't really scale. Thank you.
Wow. You can see why you can see why I've attempted to make Teodros my mentor. Very, very wise man. Very wise. Yoadan, same question.
I think expertise in what you do is very important. You really have to be, You really have to know your business, or at least what you do. You don't necessarily have to be the CEO, but you just, whatever it is that you're starting, be the most knowledgeable person in that area. And then build a community around you. I think the success of Flawless comes from the fact that we have an amazing supply chain. Our suppliers are our blessings. Anywhere from the printers to people who supply us cars or photographers, whoever. We build our relationship. We go to fight for them, okay? Because without them, Flawless cannot exist at all. And then we deliver the best that we can for our clients, not just deliver, but we try to over-deliver. Just by naming the company Flawless, we have to aim to that name at every event. Good enough is never good enough. If it's not flawless, then it's not good enough in our eyes. So it's that expertise that you build through time. To this day, we learn on a regular basis, but also building a relationship. It's not transactional. If it's transactional, it's not gonna last. So the relationship that we have, I can, at a bat of an eye, call any supplier and say, I need you to deliver X by tomorrow morning. Come hell or heaven, whatever it takes, they will deliver it in the morning. That's because we have built a relationship. If it was just transactional, you'd only last so long. So build a relationship, value your suppliers, not just your customers, because you can't supply to your customers if you don't have a good supply chain. And, be an expert.
Brilliant. Wow. And I think one of the things that inspires me, Yoadan, when I speak to you is the vision for Flawless. So tell us a little, what's the vision for Flawless? Where do you want to see it go in 5, 10 years' time? What do you imagine Flawless to be?
So when I started Flawless, I didn't really have a vision, right? I just loved doing events, and I just wanted to keep on doing events, right? And then a lot of people kept asking, well, what is the vision for Flawless? What are you going to do? You've been doing events, okay, so what's next? I hated that question, so I just said, including my husband, who used to bug me with that question. So I said, all right, to shut him up especially, I said, I want to do 1 event a month. Everybody seemed to be happy with that answer, so I said, okay, great, I got the right answer. Then, a few years down the road, we're doing 2, 3 events a month. Now I have to come up with a new vision. It's so stressful. And so just to echo what Brooke said earlier, we got to a point where we're like, okay, especially for me, it's been 10 years, we're doing events, or the brand has recognition, what's next? So what I had to do was actually stop for about a good year to be in the business. That was the time I came on Mella and I told you I was going to try something different. And I took us a program called Stanford Seed, where they took us out of our business and forced us to work on the business. And that was such an eye-opening process. And I know Teddy went through it as well. And it actually forced me to have a vision for it, to actually put it on paper and say, where do I want to see Flawless go in the next 5 to 10 years? And what I've realized is I love doing events. There's a lot of passion in that, but there's also a bit of frustration by where we see a lot of African events that are organized by non-Africans. And I'm always wondering, is it because we don't know better? Is it because we don't have the talent, right? So since we have all of that, what I want to show is that Africa can do it. So it's we've already started, but to scale it up and do more events around the continent by Africans. So to say, look, we can deliver flawlessly any event, any part of Africa, not just within Ethiopia, and really show that Africans can do it. So with that, we also have financial goals. We have, at this point, but really to scale up our voice around the continent. And when it comes about talking about Africa and African-related services, I want to be there and talk about it and say, as an African, I'm actually doing it. We don't need to import that from somewhere else.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Blayne, my question to you is a little different. I see True Love Granola everywhere. And that journey I've seen from it being out of your apartment to literally everywhere now, which says something about a marketing ability, about hard work, about how. Speak into that a little bit. How have you got your brand from starting to now being recognized everywhere?
Good question. I don't know. But no, it's been, I guess the quote that I like to think of is, I don't know if you've ever heard this, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's kind of how we've taken it. We take it, initially 1 day at a time, to 1 month at a time, to 3 months at a time. I hope at some point we can work looking 6 months to a year really realistically, but we're not quite there yet. But every day we look for opportunities to grow our brand, find new customers. We look to develop our team and always get better. My husband always is talking about continuous improvement. He comes from a manufacturing background, and that's really how we look to do business. It's every day we want to be a slightly better business than the day we were before. And in some ways that means working on the business, like Yoadan said, or it can be working on improving or increasing our customer base, improving our social media performance, but it's really just day by day making small improvements, trying to get better at what we do.
It's very inspiring, and I think when it's actually done, yeah, let's hear it. Easier said than done.
I'll answer it for her. It's quality. Quality sells. If the product did not sell, if it wasn't good enough, it's quality. So I think you should really own it. Say, because I have a fantastic product, and you do.
Okay.
Come on, oh. Quality.
I think that's just one piece of it, because it's the team, it's the marketing, it's the business. The product is just one small piece of a bigger picture we're working on. But thank you.
Amazing. And then, Teddy, my question to you. When I sit down and talk to you and we have a coffee, I leave feeling like I can change the world. I can take over the world. I can do everything and anything. There's something about having an optimistic outlook and a mindset that allows you to do what you've done. One of the biggest logistics companies and all the big breweries, everything is through your company. I think we kind of can underplay or not see what goes on behind the scenes, but you've done a remarkable thing. You're now working within policy to see even the industry begin to open up a little bit. You're a very significant player within this space. Your mindset is a big part of that. Maybe speak into that a little bit. How important is this sense of needing to be optimistic, whether things around us look optimistic or not, or, yeah.
Well, thank you. Perhaps before I answer your question, there's a few things that were said about being wise. I think you alluded to it, and you did as well. But just because some people say, oh, you've been in business for 26 years, you've got to know ABC. Or people tell you, making lots of mistakes contributes to being wise. I disagree. If you're good at making mistakes, you'll just excel and be good at making mistakes. Wisdom, for me, is application of understanding. And understanding comes from knowledge. So, wisdom comes from understanding. Understanding comes from knowledge. You can't apply something you don't understand, and you don't understand something you don't know. So the root of wisdom is knowledge. You've got to be able to understand your business, you've got to be able to understand your customer, you've got to be able to understand your industry, then you'll be able to understand that and apply. If you don't have that in you, just because I'm 51, just because you're 51 years old and you've been in business for 26 years does not make you wise. Now, let me get to your question. I'm generally very optimistic, regardless. In my last event with you, I'd shared on how I'd gone bankrupt in 2009, 2010, completely. But I've always felt if I put some energy, some passion into what I'm doing, and if I respect my customers, and I'll be able to connect with the customer, not just functionally or transactionally, but emotionally. If I can connect with the customer emotionally, then I'll be able to sell whatever product that I have and be able to sympathize with the need of the customer and internalize it, and the customer begins to trust what we provide, then we've got a selling point. We've got a product that we can take into the market. That always drives me. And it's always about, can I connect? If I can't connect to the customer, then I've lost that customer. If I sit in a meeting room, and if I sense that I'm losing a conversation here, I begin to understand, what does this customer really need emotionally? What is their pain? What is the greatest pain they've got? Can I connect with that emotionally? If I can tap to that, then I can secure this customer. Then I begin to understand what their pain is. So for me, the optimistic and the mindset always comes in from connecting emotionally. If I can't connect, I can't sell. And I stop selling because that particular meeting begins to go south. A few weeks ago, I had an opportunity to meet great CEOs that are coming to invest in Ethiopia. And we had a small lunch. And in that lunch, we begin to discuss with one of the greatest CEOs in one of the big companies coming into Ethiopia. They know everything. They've gone through all the figures and Harvard graduates and big guys. But one thing I knew was I can connect with these guys emotionally, with their pain, with their suspicion coming to Ethiopia. Once I did that, then that discussion was a 3-hour lunch, and we connected. So that is what drives me. Thank you.
Wow. So I'd love to actually open up the floor a little bit to hear some questions from you guys. Maybe 1 or 2 more questions, and then I'm going to come back to you guys to share this one piece of advice you'd offer anyone in looking to start business.
Thank you. My question is directed to Blayne. And you said that it was a team effort, and most of your accomplishments on marketing and your brand being everywhere, it was because of your team. But the very big challenge is how to actually get a perfect team, and how did you get the team? What is your strategy on building a good team?
Fantastic question.
Okay, I can't see you, but hi out there. Thank you for your question. I think this was pretty challenging at first, and I think there were some false starts because as your business changes, as your business grows, what you need from your team also changes. So the people that I hired to help me get my business started were not necessarily the same people I needed to help run my business. I think it was also challenging because I was really trying to run a startup with people being flexible, requiring different skills, requiring hard work and passion, and not necessarily requiring tons of expertise. So I think finding that balance between people with experience and people with that energy and that passion that I was looking for was a challenge. A lot of what I found is, for my purposes at least, it's best to hire someone with not too much experience that I can train to work with me in the way that I need to deliver the kind of results that I need. I really have not liked hearing when people say, that's not how it's done here. I find that really frustrating. So if someone is open-minded and willing to learn and flexible, I think people can do anything. One story that I often share is that someone that started with me 2 years ago, Helen, she was a cleaner, and now she's our production manager. Now she uses QuickBooks. Now she uses Google Sheets. And she's working on getting her English classes. So having that openness and seeing that people can really develop, they are really able to learn, it's been an asset to us.
Fantastic. Okay, one final question. Just Ermias had his hand up. So,
first of all, congratulations on your 2 years, Caleb. I remember 4 years ago when you did the Ethiopian Entrepreneur Association in London, and now you've got a massive group in Addis Ababa. So my question is going to be both to you and Yoadan, because I know you both came from abroad and have started businesses here. What is your biggest challenge in the ease of doing business in Ethiopia?
good question. Yoadan, you're going to have to kick this one off.
Well, considering that I've never run a business outside of Ethiopia, it's hard to make a comparison. So everything I learned about running a business, I learned it in Ethiopia. I think the one thing that I came with is the discipline of work and the fact that I've always worked for somebody else before. Starting Flawless, I knew the dedication and the discipline it requires to work for someone else, let alone work for myself. So I came with that. And then Like Blayne said, I didn't believe in that. I honum, I chalem, like logic. If there was no logic behind it, I always fought against it, and just being persistent. Because, as you know, whether you're running your own business or you're working for someone else, it could be you're walking down the street. It's difficult doing anything in Ethiopia, right? So you kind of have to push against this I honum, I chalem mentality. And like I said before, that's why if you know what you're doing, and if you're so sure of your knowledge, then you can always push back against the naysayers and the negativity that comes your way as you run a business. So I can only talk about the year-on-year challenges that we face mainly with the government as you do business, whether it's from the tax offices, the permit office, or this or that office. But again, if you can have a discussion, if you can explain and you can talk it through, and if you're confident that the business you're running is clean, then you can kind of, push through it. So, yeah, it's hard to do a comparison.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I guess similarly, one of the things I'd add on to that is having almost a entrepreneurial kind of a DNA in a way. Coming to a place like Ethiopia, the options are endless. And so when they say focus is such a key thing, it's very, very true. And I know you said what are the hardest challenges, and to say there are too many opportunities is like when you're interviewed and you say, when they say, what are you not good at, you say everything, or anything. So I think that's one of the things, focus, because you find people can stretch out and then end up doing nothing. So I would say that's that for me personally. So I'm going to come back to you guys and ask the one final question about what advice to those who are thinking about starting a business or in the thick of the business and want to grow it. What would you say to them from the years of experience that you've had and the wealth of knowledge you have? What one thing would you say?
One thing is hard, but again, I said it at the beginning, know what you want to do and know why you want to do it. Because what I've learned 11 years into running a business is being a CEO is not fun. And the more you know, the less fun it is. So I'm actually looking for a CEO to take my place, because what I love to do is do events. I love the operations of events. I love the insanity of it. I love the adrenaline rush that I get from running an event. I hate being a CEO because I have to deal with finances. I have to make decisions. It's the HR matter. It's the building your team. It's training your team. It's growing your business. Like, I think because we don't have sufficient resources, we get confused between being good at what you do and being good at running a business. They're so very different. They're night and day. A lot of us do not know how to run a business. We think we do because we happen to be the owners of that business, but we don't know how to run a business. What we are good at is maybe cooking, or in my case, I'm good at running events. I know I am. But I'm learning I'm actually pretty bad at being a CEO because I don't know how to hire people. I don't know how to interview. I hate numbers. I hate finance. Like all of it, you know what I mean? So what I'm realizing is I have to hire smarter people than myself, like Teddy said. Otherwise, Flawless is going to die with Yoadan, because I can only grow Flawless to my knowledge. But the potential of Flawless is beyond that. And in order to find that, I need to find a strategic person, somebody who's better than I am to take it there, right? So if you want to start a business, do it. Know why you want to do it and know why you want to start. But realize that you're going to have better people than yourself in order to actually make it a growing business, right? And then, patience, perseverance, honesty, and have a lot of integrity as you go through it.
Gold. Absolute gold.
Same question?
Same question.
For me, I'll just say two things, if you allow me. One is, be you. You. There's only one of you. God made only one of you. That's you. You're not Yo-Yo. You're not me. You're not Caleb. It's you. You're unique. Be you. Know you. Once you do that, then you'll know what makes you happy and what satisfies you. So you've got to know who you are. Number two for me, seek knowledge. Seek knowledge. Without knowledge, you can't grow personally, professionally. Seek knowledge. Thank you. Simple. Wow.
So from my end, it would be just start. So there's a quote, okay, I'm sharing a lot of quotes with you guys. I'm easily inspired, but there's a quote that says, "Let me fall if I must fall. The one who I become will catch me." And I really love this quote because the me of 3 years ago would never think that I could run the type of business that I'm running now. And the me that's running the business now can't imagine what I'll be doing in 3 years, hopefully running a huge factory making healthy food for Ethiopians. So I think just get started, and step by step, you'll grow into the leader, the business owner, the CEO that you want to be, running the business that you want to have.
Wow, wow, wow. Join me in thanking these three brilliant guests. I knew this would be a fascinating conversation. It has been. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Atam.